world is so fucking weird. This was the second film I saw in a theater post-COVID lockdown, and while I sat there in the theater, I was so mesmerized by some of the choices being made. But by the time it was over, I kinda liked it. The Kappa family, with the two parents on the brink of divorce, head to a resort on a tropical island for vacation when they are taken to a secluded beach with a bunch of other tourists. After a short time, they notice that the kids are looking much older, and they also started to develop some wrinkles. They try to leave, but can't due to some mysterious force, and now are rapidly aging and must find a way out before they eventually die. Before I talk about my feelings on the movie, I want to explain how I thought others would have thought of it while I was watching it. You see, I actually managed to see this without knowing the Rotten Tomatoes score, and by the time we got to the halfway point, I thought, oh, this movie has like a 10%, doesn't it? Maybe 20. And again, I liked it, but when I got home, I saw that it had a 50%, and I was happy. I didn't want Shyamalan to have another critical bomb. It just seemed weird because this seems like this is the kind of movie that critics would pan. But I think 50% suits it because this is kind of a mixed bag. By that, I mean there's some really good things, some really bad things, and things that go back and forth. We'll start with the bad. The dialogue is fucking awful. It's almost like he's trolling his haters. From weird exposition dumps to quirky characters, he has to know about the people who despise his way of writing dialogue and just said, oh, I'm going to make those people have an awful experience. And I kind of respect that. There are also way too many ass shots in this. I know they're on a beach and it isn't focusing on them or anything, but I just feel uncomfortable seeing what are supposed to be teenage girls with the minds of children in small bikinis. There's also a lot of stuff that goes back and forth, mainly the acting. Some of them are pretty good. I even thought the kids were fine, and Nikki Amuka Bird I thought was really good. Some just go back and forth, but then there's two. One is Vicky Krieps as Priska. Now, she's from Luxembourg, so English isn't her first language, and she's definitely trying, but the accent just makes her come off very wooden. Then there's Aaron Pierre as Mid-Size Sedan, a rapper. He's just bad. It's his first movie. I'm sure he'll get better in his others, but in this, no, he was bad. The cinematography is also a mixed bag. A lot of it is pretty good, but then you just get really weird panning shots, or some scenes that are just oddly framed, some running scenes close to the characters' faces. Again, a lot of it is good. Sometimes those odd shots can be pretty effective, but a mixed bag. Then there's the ending, and much like Glass, I wouldn't say it has a twist, more just a reveal. I kinda guessed what was up with them being there, I just didn't know why. And when we find out why, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But again, just like Glass, it ends like 3 or 4 times. Also, the baby scene, like, I get it. You have kids with the minds of 6-year-olds suddenly rushed with teenage hormones, but it's just odd seeing someone who's supposed to have the mind of a first grader giving birth. However, it is a really creepy scene.
What you did is how babies are made.
I know, but I thought you had to do that 10 times or something. Did I get that wrong?
It can happen after only once. We didn't get a chance to talk about all this.
We're trying to die having a baby.
Did I get it wrong? We have a couple of minutes left if we're right.
Is that the baby? Mom! Charles!
Kiara, I need to think about what to do.
No. I need to help her. Mom! I'm scared!
Wait, stay with me. Stay with me.
For what the movie does good all the way through, well, the suspense and mystery. Like I said, I guess the twist, for lack of a better word, but the build up to it is phenomenal. I love how it shows certain signs of aging. One of them starts to lose their eyesight, one starts to lose their hearing, and then stuff starts to go really bad. They find a dead body, the grandma and dog die, the kids have grown, they start to go gray, and every time they try to leave, they can't. Something just prevents them. It is genuinely creepy and puts a lot of suspense into the situation. The dread and panic are there. The art direction is gorgeous. This is a beautiful movie, and the fact that this incredibly scary situation is happening in such a scenic location provides a nice contrast. Similar to Midsommar, there are some great scenes. From them all having to remove a tumor from Priska's stomach to some of the deaths, one death scene made me actually shiver. If you've seen the movie, I'm sure you know what it is. Let's say it has something to do with broken bones. So Old has its problems, but stuff it does well is really freaking good. It's his second film he did based on a previous property, and not having read the graphic novel, I could say it was way better than The Last Airbender. If you hate some of those Shyamalan-isms, you'll probably hate this, but if you don't, I recommend it at least once. I give it a 7 out of 10. Well, that's his most recent film, and I'm really happy with his output after that brief studio movie phase of the early 2010s. And while Glass and Old were mixed, they have gotten better reviews than a lot of his films from the past. Plus, he has that show on Apple TV, Servant, where he's directed some episodes and produced it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good. His new movie, Knock at the Cabin, is supposed to be released next month. At the time I'm recording, it hasn't gotten a trailer, but I know it's another home invasion movie with Dave Bautista, Rupert Grint, and Nikki Amuka Bird. I'm really excited for that one, and I love that he's still making movies that he wants to make, and even when they don't really work, they're still interesting. And I hope he continues making them for years to come. Well, tomorrow we start with David Fincher, and once again we'll have to go back to the past to look at a film I never wanted to see, but I think it's time to give it a chance. See you then.